Welcome to another weekly reading vlog. I haven't done this in so long, and I wanted to do this because I wanted to provide updates about my life, and in general, I also want to uh narrate, not narrate. What do I want to say? No, I wanted to document down my first week of exercising again after 1.5 years, I think, around there. Yeah. And so I kind of want to see how much I'm gonna die because I really feel like dying. Yeah, because I want to see like how it'll be for me. I know I'll probably die from it, like of course jokingly, but you know the pain. Yeah, so this is the vlog. I'll update you guys about what I'm reading later on. But so far, there are three books that I'm reading, which is Spirits of Vengeance by Rob J. Hayes, the third book to the first era of Mistborn, which is The Hero of Ages, and the last one, a controversial one for me, is Priest by Simmone. So I'll catch you guys later. Do I look like a wet rat and half dead? Yes, that's because I just went for my very first session of BFT and I have not worked out for, I think, easily close to 2 years or so, or maybe less than that. Maybe, I think maybe 1 year ago, approaching 1.5 years. And holy, I can't feel my legs. It's like floating or something. Yeah, oh my god, I didn't think. I mean, I thought it would be bad. I'm just a little bit happy that it wasn't as bad as I thought. In any case, um, I just came back from KL as well, and well, I went there for work, for an energy sustainability kind of convention, and had the chance to eat, and I had the chance to eat quite a bit of good food. As I will show you clips here, I think. And I also managed to visit Kinokuniya at KLCC, and it is beautiful. I mean, as per usual, Kinokuniya hates to stock their fantasy and sci-fi sections, but it's definitely still much better in terms of selection when it comes to Singapore, even though Singapore has more shelves of fantasy and sci-fi compared to them. But I think their stocks are a little bit better. So I bought like give me a moment. Uh, oh my legs. Jeez. Okay. I bought about 5 books as you can see here. Okay, hear me out. They weren't too expensive, though they weren't exactly cheap. I bought the second and third book to the Bone Shark Daughter series? Question mark. Not too sure if that is what it's called, but yeah, it's to complete the book I already have over there. I already have it here, and to complete the series, which I've heard is amazing, so I trust and I like the concept. And the other one I bought because it was relatively cheap. So here it is, the completed trilogy of the Chronicles of the Bitch Queen. The first book being The Wolf of Oren Yarrow, followed by the Ikasafrogan? What? How do you say that? Okay, never mind. And the Dragon of Jean Sai. What the hell? I have no idea how to say these words. But point is, I bought this because it was relatively cheap, and for the longest time, I've wanted to start this series. And I thought, what the hell? Just buy the entire series. They just have it right there. So I bought it. And that's what I did in KL, and it's beautiful, and I love Kinokuniya. And I'll probably go back maybe another time soon. Flight tickets from Singapore to KL, it's quite cheap, so there's really little to no reason to not go to KL. So probably I will visit KL once again. So yeah, this is roughly what I wanted to talk to you guys about. I'm gonna put on my skincare and go to sleep. And when the next time I update you, I'll be talking to you about the books that I'm currently reading and maybe a little bit more about where my life is right now. So, I've been reading several things right now, as per usual. One being The Spirits of Vengeance by Rob J. Hayes, and I'm still not any further with that. I'm kind of just putting it off. I'm not too sure why, because I've enjoyed Never Die by Rob J. Hayes before, but with the next two books in this series, I really couldn't get through it very well. And it's not that he has changed or did anything worse. It's kind of just I'm not feeling it. And so I'm just putting it off until I feel like I want to read something very action based. Yeah. And the other thing that I'm kind of reading right now is completing the first um is it season? No. Um First era of Miss Barnes. So I'm reading the last book, which is The Hero of All of Ages. Is it The Hero of Ages? Yes, The Hero of Ages. And again, I'm enjoying this one. It's getting more and more political over time and less of the action, which is what I prefer usually with the books I read. And I'm loving the progression of Vin and Ellen and all our characters and how they're growing and how the trauma is building up through the books, because they're going through war and their losses and everything are building up and forming and changing who they are because naturally people change because of that. And so I've been really enjoying the third book, which is The Hero of Ages, so much. And I'm kind of just reading this purely on audio, which is surprising for me because usually I can't read things on audiobook if it's like really high fantasy stuff because the terms and everything kind of get me confused and stuff. But this kind of worked out really well. I think it's because I read the first book already physically and I remember how the names look like, the terms are whatsoever, and the whole magic system. I'm not learning anything much more than in the first book. So the third book being listened on audio kind of really worked for me. And the last book that I'm currently reading is Priest. I forgot the author's name. And I was really inspired by Tammy, who read this with a friend and had an enjoyable time reading it, even though it's really kind of a bad book. And I know with what it is as a genre, aka it's a romance book. Priest says a lot about what it should be, and it's so. I thought this maybe is some fan fiction level of Fleabag, if you guys know what Fleabag is, hot priest. The whole hot priest terms come. The whole hot priest term comes from Fleabag, and so I'm also reading this with a friend of mine, and she has not touched it yet. I'm almost like 70% in, and wow, this book is a freaking joke. I have no idea what to say because I don't want to hate read books, but I thought that I was gonna have an enjoyable time, and the truth is, I am. I'm having the most enjoyable time reading this, finding it so damn hilarious reading this because I'm so appalled at the progression of this story. I'm so appalled at how like semi good the writing is. Like in terms of like the actual writing, it's not that bad. It's pretty deep. And how I'm turned off by the choreography of the sex scenes, but the writing of the sex scenes weren't so turned off, like the actual writing. Yeah. And I'm also very amazed at how for essentially a 300-page book, this has like zero to no plot. Like, what is the plot really? Because I felt like it could have been easily like 200 pages. We could have skipped maybe a few of the sex scenes and we could have gotten where we are. And I'm just shocked at how committed this guy is, this priest is, to this woman, even though he just met her for like 6 weeks. And then, like, 6 weeks. I'm shocked. What? Why would you give up anything for a woman you just met? Like, for 6 weeks, you barely know her. Oh my god. Two of them are really, like, jokes of the century because of that. Like, why are we even, oh Lord, I don't even think it's a spoiler. It's kind of like part of the story, a priest doing dirty things. And I just find it so hilarious because, wow, a normal romance book is totally fine for me. I'm okay with a romance book, but romance books that are like that, I think this is like considered erotica. It's basically porn, right? Because it's like chapter one, we already like almost going to porn level already. It's like a porn movie in a book, I think. And I've never really actually watched a porn movie, so but it feels like what it should be on screen, but in pages. And luckily, I'm not actually reading this. I did not actually buy this. I'm reading it off my like KU subscription. And I was like, thank God, this is just part of the subscription, like whatever, And I'm reading this so fast because I'm just essentially skimming through everything. Yeah. So these are the three books that I was reading and I'm still reading that I wanted to update you guys about. So I'm once again going for another workout sesh. This is my third one already because I went for another one the day before. And so I'm just being consistent because it's like a 2-week unlimited trial for BFT. And like people are telling me you should like make use of it as much as possible so that you won't waste money. I'm like, my legs are telling me that it's about to die and drop off, and you still want me to go. Okay, I'll go. And that's how passive I am, I think. Yeah. But that's pretty much the update. I don't know what else I want to update you guys about. Oh yes, I started a new job, which I'm struggling with tremendously. And I wish it was a little bit easier and that it wouldn't be so difficult, but here we are. Yes, I'm now like a nurse turned IT sales. Like, what's going on with that? There's so many people that I've been meeting because, like, essentially I'm in sales or business development, and I'm being forced to go network because it's part of the job. Not forced, it's part of the job. And then and a lot of people look at me and find out about my history, and they look at me and say, but why? Why would you do that? Why would you give that up? Why would you leave the industry? And why would you make such a big change? I'm like, I have freaking no idea. This is just where life is leading me, and I want to just take it by the balls and do something. So yeah, that's it for the check-in, and I'll let you know when I finish Priest, I guess, because it's really a majorly terrible book, and I want to do all the spoiler things in this vlog as well. So yeah. The last I talked to you was when I told you guys about the books I read, right? And I told you I'll get back to you about Priest. I'm so glad it's over. At the same time, I have to admit, I did have a joyous time reading this goddamn book. Because I thought that it was really super duper funny, like I said in the previous video. Like I said in the previous clip, and I'm gonna do my skincare as I talk to you about the last parts and the spoilery parts of Priest. So if you don't want to hear the spoilers of Priest, move on to like whatever the time is here that I written on the screen. Because I'm gonna go in depth of Hawaii. I hated this book so much and yet had the most fun time reading it. So yeah. So starting off, honestly, this was so ridiculous because I thought that though it was not badly written, it certainly had no plot at all. Still, like, it's not badly written, but the problem I have with this book is that it has no plot. So from the very start, from page 22 on my Kindle at least, we already have our priest, Mr. Father Tyler Bell, getting real hot and hard with his sausage or whatever crap. I don't want to. When he kind of has this first confession booth thing with our other main character, Poppy. And he gets really hard and turned on. Why? Because of her voice or something like that, and the fact that her eyelashes were like, the exact line is, her eyelashes made me hard. That was a new benchmark for me. And sir, that was also a new benchmark for me. I have never seen that before in my entire life. What the freak? I'm certain, I don't know, like, girl. Okay, never mind. He gets hot and heavy with this girl already. Just from the first confessional that he has with her. And, you know, she's trying to learn about Catholicism, you know, how to be a good Christian and stuff. And, you know, this guy getting hot and heavy with her. And apparently, at the same time, we'll find out later on that she is also really into him. Like, she's like, I knew how you look. And then she went home and then went onto the site and looked up how he looked and stuff. And got really hot. Like, seeing his picture and like, he's so fucking hot. And essentially, you know, did the nasty with herself because of that. Anyway, the next time they meet is when they were Father Bell is going for a run and she was also exercising and they were like, oh my god, you're so hot. And because he's not wearing a shirt, what the fuck, yeah. And then they get even more attracted, you know, because he could see her face and he's like, oh my god, that's like kind of how I imagined her. I imagined her to look this hot with like brown eyes, red lips, tight ass. And I'm like, enough, you barely met this woman, okay? And then they go for a second confessional, and during the confessional they get turned on again. And this time around she has to step out of the session halfway through the confessional and then you know, excuse herself. And he was like, no, she's not gonna excuse myself. I'm gonna be a good priest and I'm gonna give her a good confessional. He steps out. I don't know how they get into a kinky position. They got into a kinky position, and apparently this woman ain't wearing no undies. Why was she not wearing undies? Because she wanted access to herself. I regret saying so much. She wanted access to herself while they're having her confessional so that she could get off. Yeah, I'm trying to process, but she was trying to get off, you know, while having the confessional, because she was like, I need an easy access. I'm like, girl, what's happening? Okay. Anyway, they did somewhat of the nasty, but didn't go in. I'm not gonna go in detail. So they did the nasty number 1, okay, on the church floor. Oh my god, and this guy apparently is struggling through his trauma, whatever crap, but you know, it's like, the worst part is I don't even feel like Tyler Bell even feels sorry for whatever he does. It's like, it is so forced and so planted. It's as if like Sarah Simmone really wanted him to feel sorry and that he was a good Christian man. And in reality, it's very fake. Like, it feels so not real, you know? And I don't believe him. I don't believe him even one bit. I feel like he's just asking those questions for the sake of asking them. Anyway, throughout the entire book, they question their relationship and question what they are, and there's a push and pull of whatever that push and pull is, because I thought nothing. there's a fake push and pull of the fact that they can't be together, because he's a priest and she's a dirty sex worker or whatever crap. Like, oh my god! And I love how Simmone loves to portray Father Tyler Bell as like such a man, like such a woman's man, or like such a feminist, and then at the same time, I feel like he's not consistent. He's like, I want her, she's mine. I have a hold over her. I'm like, you're in a situationship, brother. Wake up. You can't even commit. It's so irritating. He's so irritating. And oh my god. I'm trying to find you some lines that I read and I'm just like, why are you saying these things? Okay. He's so preachy about the fact that he's like a woman's man or whatever crap. At some point he says this line, I liked being dressed when I effed. I always had. There was no bigger turn on than having a naked woman climbing all over you, purring at your feet, and squealing in your lap, all while you're fully dressed. And then he acknowledges that's a little bit effed up to say, and I'm like, yeah, I'm glad you know, but it feels forced. Again. Anyway, as they struggle with their relationship and have their hoo-has and hoo-has, at some point, they have some sort of a revelation as they F on the altar of the church. Yo, I was like screaming at that point, internally, of course, because I was reading it in public. Very ambitious of me. Anyway, point is, I was screaming internally and I was like, what the frick is this? Why are you right in front of the Jesus statue too? Like, please, for God's sake. Literally, for God's sake, right? Okay, wait. I have the line here. It's so disturbing that I wanted to die. Where is it? Oh, yeah. And so they had their third or fourth confessional after that particular scene where they had, done the nasty on the altar of the church. And apparently in a certain position, Poppy is somewhat looking at the Jesus statue as he just maliciously rams into her and stuff, right? And then she's recounting this to him in the perspective of like her talking to Tyler Bell in the pew, in the booth or whatever, and she says, oh my god, you were piercing me and Christ had been pierced too. I'm like, you bitch. Please don't. I'm not like the most religious person, really, truly. I'm not. I'm Christian. I believe in God, sort of. But I'm not that religious. But that really, wow, that had me good. And I felt like, no. I had to like take a break and take a deep breath, because I felt like so angry to the point that I started laughing, because that was the only way I could deal with my anger. Anyway, it was so disgusting. Much of it is just them, effing, figuring out life. At some point, the second act breakup comes in when her ex comes into the picture, and the ex is toxic AF, and he wants her even though he has a wife already. Okay, whatever. And so it becomes like this area of conflict for them, and he gets very jealous and like, alpha male, I need you, Poppy, you are mine. I'm like, girl, stop, you're still in a situationship, okay? And then they have the whole hoo-ha, and they had like this really elaborate sex scene, the nasties, in the back room of the strip club that she works at, as sort of like atonement of like, yeah, Tyler, you own me, I love you. And at that point, they barely know each other for 6 weeks. Can I just remind all of you that 6 weeks? And they're like, I love you, I would give up everything for you. I'm like, girl, what even? You barely know each other. And the truth is they really barely know each other. This is just realistic, right? And then the bad guy, Sterling, which is the shitty ex, has pictures, like bad pictures of them. And he's not bad pictures, actually just them like hugging and kissing. But he's a priest, so that gets bad. And then he puts it on social media and it blows up, and he was at that point already leaving the church because he wants you to propose to her and say like, Poppy Danforth, I love you. Please, would you marry me? Because I can't live life without you. And I'm like, girl, please stop. You barely know her. Why are you giving up life? Okay, whatever. And then she doesn't want him to give it up because she feels bad. It's like, you're giving up your entire life for me? That's not what I want. Okay, I got it. That's not what he wants. Yeah, that's not what she wants. Anyway, and then so she kind of fakes this whole scene of her like kissing Sterling and looking like she is cheating on him as he walks into her house, and he's shocked. So he leaves thinking that he has just thrown away his whole life for this woman who doesn't even really love him. And then she runs away. And as the reader, you're wondering why. Why did she run away? What is the purpose of that? It turns out she just didn't want him to, give up his life for her. And they can't just have a normal adult relationship. I don't understand why is that the case. Why can't they just have a normal adult relationship? Anyway, he says that to her and she's like, I know, I'm sorry. I'm like, it's been a year, girl. Sorry ain't cutting it for me, but for him, of course, whatever, And then they eventually get married, blah, blah, blah. You know why I don't believe in their romance? No. So that's the end of spoilers. So hi everyone who is back from the spoilers. Past the spoilery section. I just wanted to so with everything I've narrated in the spoilers, I just wanted to let you guys know briefly why I really hated this book. That's because, like, it's so shit because it's not realistic, sex scenes wise. Second, the romance was shit. In 6 weeks, you're expecting me for two people who don't know each other at all to fall in love in 6 weeks and want to marry each other straight up. And when most of their lover scenes are on, like when they're having serious conversations about their future and actually contemplating, it often just immediately rolls into a sex scene. Even like their reconciliation scenes, immediately, it's not even funny. At this point, I just find it so irritating. I'm just rolling my eyes, skipping past those scenes. So I guess it's just not the book for me, but perhaps I also find that there are much better romance books out there. Like, if this is erotica and it's not really a romance, fine, whatever, you're just reading for the sex, then like it's hard, I guess, right? But girl, there's so much better books out there. I've read other romance books that I like and prefer, and this is not it. This is just, like, if you're reading it for the sex, just read a romance book with actual substance in it, like, why, like, So anyway, bad book in general. Like, I really could not find a redeeming factor. I tried to read like 4 or 5-star reviews from people and wondering why they love this so much, and most of them are just saying like because it's kind of hot, like it's really hot, and he's such a sensitive guy. I'm like, it's so forced. How are you believing this man? Because I can't. In any case, so that's like the update for this book, and I have continued on with a Mistborn number 3, aka Hero of Ages, and it's a long book, so I'm taking my sweet time with it and I'm enjoying it. I probably enjoy book 2 a lot more, which is very rare because usually book 2 is the slug, right? In any series that is 3 books, but for this case I really am ranking it sort of like 2, 3, and 1 right now. So, but we shall see because we're only halfway into that. So I think I'm gonna end the vlog here because there's not much else. I just wanted to talk about Priest because I think there will be a lot of people who will be interested. I do not know. I just find that it's such a hilarious book. Like, I can't even objectively say it's good. maybe the sex scenes, I don't know, because I don't read that much of those books. So people who read those books probably couldn't tell you better if it was good or not, because I don't read that much of those kind of books. But in general, no plot, weak character building, just horrible. Okay, nothing was believable about that. And yeah, you're saying like it's a fictional book, you know, about romance. It should not be real. It's supposed to emulate real life to a certain extent, right? That's why we read and feel like we can believe in the fantasy. I could not believe in that fantasy. Okay, I could not. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this vlog was kind of fun. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys in the next one.